Welcome back to the Jewish Roots Life Group. We're furthering our study of Moses and working our way toward the Ten Commandments. So before we do, let's go ahead and see what your thoughts are. What do you think of when you hear the phrase Ten Commandments? What do we know about them? What do they mean to us today? And were the Ten Commandments legalism, or were they given out of love? And lastly, take a moment and listen to the Spirit. What do you think God wants you to gain from this life group and this teaching? So first of all, let's define terms. Commandments, or in Hebrew, mitzvahs. In its primary meaning in Hebrew, the word mitzvah is commandment. The plural is mitzvot, and it refers to a commandment or commanded by God to be formed as a religious duty. Jewish law, the halakha, in large part consists of discussion of these commandments, and traditionally it is held that there are 613 of these commandments. In its second meaning, the word mitzvah refers to a deed performed in order to fulfill such a commandment. As such, the term mitzvah also has come to express an individual act of human kindness in keeping with the law or commandment. The expression includes a sense of heartfelt sentiment beyond mere legal duty, as you shall love your neighbor as yourself, as found in Leviticus 19:18. So let's do Strong's definition of the law. So Strong's definition of Torah is direction, instruction, law. Transliteration, Torah. And you can interchange these, direction, instruction, and law. And I thought it was very, very interesting that the definition of the word that commandments or law or Torah is direction and instruction. In the NASB translation, it gives custom, instructions, law, ruling, teaching, or teachings. So to get a better idea of what the word commandments or law or Torah is, it's a set of instructions, a direction, and it's teaching us. Very, very, very interesting. Now, it is said in Jewish history and Jewish tradition that the original set of 10 commandments was complete sapphire, blue sapphire stone. Blue signifying the color of the heavens. So they state that the actual 10 commandments were written by the finger of God on sapphire stones. Now, wouldn't that be just awesome? That would be really something to see. Commandments written by the finger of God on sapphire stones. All right, the 10 Commandments and the Torah portions. And it just so happens to be that we are in the Torah portion right now of Yitro. So in this week's Torah portion in Yitro, which means the abundance or plenty, in Hebrew, Yitro is a fitting name for this week's Torah reading, for the Lord was in the process of completely transforming the Israelites from slaves who lived out of scarcity to children of God who lived out of abundance. That's why it says from abundance or plenty. As God redeemed Israel, he redeemed us through Messiah. We too are new creations with a new identity and a new purpose. Israel began to experience transformation during Shavuot or Pentecost, when they encountered God's presence at Mount Sinai and heard the Lord proclaim the 10 Commandments. The Apostle Peter himself became a new creation during Pentecost. The law was to establish order identity, and purpose to connect to Him. So the purpose of the commandments, the law, the Torah, was to give order, identity, and a purpose to connect us to our Creator, or in the Messiah. All right, the other Torah portion that mentions the Ten Commandments is Va'echanan. Our 45th reading from the Torah and the second reading from the book of Deuteronomy is Va'echanan, which means, and I besought. This title originates from the first verse of the reading, which says, I pleaded or besought with Adonai at that time. Deuteronomy 3:23. Excuse me. The portion completes Deuteronomy's historical preface as a covenant document and begins a rehearsal of its stipulations. Part of that rehearsal is a repetition of the Ten Commandments and the beloved Jewish prayers like the Shema, as found in Deuteronomy 6:4-9. And the Shema is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, strength. That is the Shema. And connected to the Shema, its typography is unusual, with the two enlarged letters in Hebrew text. The last letter of the first word is Ayin. The last letter of the last word is Dalet. Both are written larger than the rest. These two enlarged letters together spell witness, Aid. That's Ayin and Dalet in Hebrew. What does this detail suggest? When we say the Shema, we are saying about the Lord and what we are bearing witness. What are we saying about the Lord? And to what are we bearing witness? The letters Ayin and Dalet are larger than the rest here in the Shema, and you can see the example here. I've circled them in red. The first word, you see the last letter is highlighted in yellow, and in the last letter, the last word and the last letter is highlighted in yellow as well, so you can see that in the original Hebrew. So were the Ten Commandments legalism or love? The giving of the Ten Commandments is often seen as legalism. It is designed for structure and instruction, but serves a purpose of connection to Him. Example, I tell my son to brush his teeth. He sees it as a dad thing, being bossy with rules. He does not see the purpose of love and connection. Later, when he has no cavities and people want to be around him because his breath doesn't stink, he may realize the why or purpose of my mitzvah or law for him. It was given out of love with a designed purpose. And that's exactly what God did with the Ten Commandments. He's given the Ten Commandments to His people. And first of all, it was a set of instructions to give direction, because when you come out of slavery, all you know is slavery. Now you've become a people, you're free. That freedom has to have boundaries. And those boundaries are the instructions or the law or the Torah or the mitzvahs. And these boundaries are out of love, not legalism. These laws or instructions have to be so that you don't end up in lawlessness. And God does not want lawlessness. He wants us to be righteous and follow His instructions, His ways, His mitzvahs, and realize that this is for our own good, and it's to establish a better connection to Him. So thinking about the Ten Commandments, had you ever thought about that the Ten Commandments were actually there to connect us to Him, the Creator, to establish a better relationship with Him, the Creator? Or did you just see it as a bunch of Old Testament laws that was just for the Jews? Or the Ten Commandments are a good idea, they're a good little set of rules, or morals, ethics, values, whatever. But it's so much more than that. So much more. God formed these with His finger. His own hand wrote these for His people to give them guidance, to give them direction, and to get them to connect to Him. He wants a relationship with us. And the only way we can get that relationship is we follow the instructions that He has given us. And that was the whole purpose of the Ten Commandments. So in the next episode, we're going to see some details that I never realized growing up, reading this story many, many, many times. There are several details that I've overlooked and really didn't see. And we're going to go into some of those in the next session. This session, I just wanted to drive home the importance of the Ten Commandments, that it's not just a set of Old Testament laws that was for the Jews. That's not the case. These are instructions to get closer to God, to get to a relationship to Him. They are for both Jew and Gentile. And He said for Gentile, why yes, because if you are a Gentile and you are a follower of Jesus, the Messiah, then you have been grafted in. You've been grafted into God's chosen people. So therefore, it is also our set of commandments, laws, instructions, mitzvahs, if you will, for our betterment. They were given out of love so that we can have a better connection or relationship to Him. See you next week.